What is good, my people? We're back with another video, man. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you're new here. So you've seen the title for today. In order for you to attain and become more, you have to do what others aren't willing to do to have the things that they will never have. At the end of the day, you have to be willing to eat clean, to go to the gym, to drink the water, to do the extra lap, to do the extra sit up, rep, go to bed an extra hour earlier, wake up an extra hour earlier, in order for you to attain the things that everyone is striving for, in a sense, but it's going to put you on that level higher at the end of the day. Because if you just do what everyone else is doing, you're not going to achieve the results that you want at the end of the day. Mediocrity is somewhat become the norm at the end of the day. And of course, this is a fitness page, so I'm mostly talking in a physical sense, in the fact that you're deemed somewhat unusual if you take an active interest in your health, in your physical appearance, wanting to be strong, wanting to be healthy, all those other things. People will try to convince you that it doesn't matter, you can eat what you want, you do what you want, life is short, enjoy it, or you're doing too much, or relax, man, you can have XYZ, and sure, you can have XYZ. There's not, you can have the burger, you can have the alcohol, you can have the all the other things that aren't essentially good for you, but they're the norm at the end of the day. And you can have these things, but it comes to a point where you have to say to yourself, okay, I've had enough. I've had my fair share, and that might take a day, that might take a year, months, whatever. But you say to yourself, okay, it's time to change, it's time to transform, it's time to become better, man. I want more, I need more to feel fulfilled, to feel like, I'm becoming the greatest version of myself at the end of the day. And people don't like when you go against the status quo. People don't like when you start to fix things in your life where they're so used to you being a part of their mediocre routine, that they don't like, the fact that you're trying to become better, trying to be better at the end of the day. And that's their business, that's them, that's cool, that's whatever. But you got to focus on yourself, you got to focus on what you want, where you want to be, how you want to look, how you want to move, all these different things, man. Because nobody likes a loser at the end of the day. People love people who win, who excel, who execute. They're the heroes, they're the leaders in society, quote unquote. But with that comes effort, with that comes discipline, comes change. And I think a lot of time we don't see these things, so we don't understand until you get in the thick of it. Then you really start to understand what it takes to be where you want to be, And I will talk from my personal experience when I was on my football journey. When you're young, you kind of just play the game, and then you say to yourself, okay, I want to take it to the next level. So you do a little extra training, and then you go, okay, I want to take it to the next level. So you got to do extra fitness work, strength work, eat right, sleep right, study the game, make sure that you're doing the skill work, you're doing more than others, you're staying strong mentally, you're doing the self-talk. There's a lot more that becomes involved in order for you to reach the next level. Now, the next level is different for everybody, and I'm going to put it back onto a fitness wave now. There's physiques that you look at and you go, damn, that person's in shape. There's physiques you look at and you go, you got a decent. And then there's some you look at and you're like, damn, you need some help. Like, it's terrible. And depending on where you fit on that criteria is going to depend on how much work you need to do, how much you need to change. Because not everyone is made equal. Everyone's got different starting points, everyone's got different base points. And, your work is going to be different from everybody else's. Some people, you're going to have to go on the treadmill for an hour. Other people, you're going to have to strength train for an hour. You don't need to go on the treadmill. You're already, everyone needs to do cardio, but you're already skinny. So you want to build muscle. But he's fat, so he's got to lose the fat. You have bad mobility, so you got to work on your mobility in order to do the exercises. You've got weak joints. Like, everyone's got to do different things in order to attain what they want to attain. So at the end of the day, everyone's journey and path is going to be different. So you can't take someone else's routine and apply it almost exactly to yourself. You can take certain elements and you incorporate here and there, but at the end of the day, you're your own experiment. And in order to attain what you want to attain, you have to be willing to fail and try again and fail and try again until the remedy, the formula, whatever it is, starts to show results, starts to work. And that, again, might take weeks, months, years, however long it takes in order for you to be where you want to be. But again, you have to do those things. And in order for you to do those things, sometimes you're going to have to go the extra mile. Again, you might have to take the extra lap, might have to take the extra set, one less donut, one less scoop of whatever, one less cup of alcohol, one less night out in the month. Different things, but you have to know where you want to go and the things that you have to sacrifice in order for you to get there. Now, a lot of people look at sacrifice and they say, okay, I got to go cold turkey, no more this, no more that. That doesn't usually last long. You can slowly, some things cold turkey like that, just out and out bad for you, don't get it wrong. But some things you just slowly cut back until you realize, I never even really needed that in my life in the first place. I was just following the pattern of others. And when you start to get to those, places where your schedule makes sense, everything's starting to make sense, that's when you're on the right path. But it might take some time to find that path. You might fall back into, the nonsense, but that's okay as long as you say to yourself, okay, you know what, I messed up. I'm gonna come again stronger. I'm gonna work to be better. I'm gonna work to be more focused. Then, at that point, you can get yourself back on track, man, and really dial in, and then the results will start to slowly show all over again. But until that point happens, until you realize that you're never going to get the result without the work. No matter how much you try to work around, what's holding you back. The vices that's stopping you from attaining whatever you want to attain. And unfortunately, some windows close faster than others, and you need to be fully aware of that there is a window and an opportunity there for you. And if you don't take it in this moment in time, you may never see it again, or you might push yourself into a situation which you can't climb back out of. And those things, I think, probably burn the most when you know that you had that chance, you had that opportunity, and you kind of just didn't give it your all. And sometimes you realize a little bit too late and the window is already closing, and then you're like, nah, I ain't putting enough hours in order for me to have it. And you have to take it on the chin, and you have to understand that, okay, this one I messed up on. Take the lesson, apply it into another area of your life. So you say, okay, that opportunity is gone now. What can I do next? What can I be next? How can I use this as an example and say, okay, this is never going to happen to me again. I am going to excel in all my endeavors. I'm going to give it my all. I'm going to give it my best effort. I'm going to set a plan in place. I'm going to follow the plan. I'm going to execute the plan to the best of my ability with the knowledge that I currently have. I'm going to learn along the way. I'm going to listen to those who have either done it or experienced something similar, and apply that knowledge successfully. And that's what you got to do, man. That's what you got to do at the end of the day. But yeah, you just got to be willing to put in the extra work. Sometimes